Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really moving beyond just vaguely, taking it easy. We're getting precise. Because when you put in the work training, shouldn't your recovery get that same kind of strategic focus, not just sort of collapsing on the couch?
Mm.
So forget the usual rest day. Our mission here is to break down a really comprehensive active recovery plan. It's called Day 4 in this program, and it turns rest into a very deliberate mobility-focused session. The goal seems pretty clear: maximize how you restore yourself, minimize the actual effort, and do it all in a surprisingly short amount of time.
Yeah, what jumps out immediately is just how efficient it is. This isn't like a rambling hour-long yoga class. It's structured. It's a full 4-part cycle, and it's designed for, what, maybe 20 to 30 minutes total?
Exactly.
And the structure makes sure you hit everything you need for recovery,
Mm.
from, lubricating joints right through to calming your nervous system. It's very time effective.
It feels like a smart shortcut to feeling properly recovered and the equipment needed. It's almost nothing, right?
Pretty much. A mat or a cowl, but the sources even say that's optional. So yeah, easy to jump into. Okay, let's kick off with the first piece then, part 1. The gentle gearing up. The warm-up. It's short, just 3 to 5 minutes.
Mm.
Why start so gently?
Well, this first bit, it serves a really crucial purpose. Something people often skip when they just jump into stretching. Your body needs a signal, you know? You don't want to just shock the system going straight into deep stretches or anything intense. They specifically start with rolls for a reason.
Ah, right. And the instructions are super specific. It says 30 seconds of neck rolls each way, then shoulder rolls 30 seconds forward, 30 seconds back.
And focusing on those joints first, the neck, the shoulders, that's key. These movements, they gently get that synovial fluid moving.
The joint lubricant.
Exactly. It reduces friction, maybe increases the range of motion just a tiny bit, but safely. It's all prep work. Okay. And then it moves down the chain. Torso twists for a minute, just gently rotating. And then 1 minute of marching in place.
And they really stress this march should be slow. It's not about getting breathless. No, definitely not. That march in place, it's like a bridge. It lifts the heart rate just slightly, gets blood flowing everywhere, but without really taxing the big muscles. So the whole warm-up, maybe 3 to 5 minutes, it's basically telling your body, okay, we're moving today, but gently. It's about recovery. It really sets the stage perfectly for what comes next, which leads us right into part 2. And this part, I found this really interesting. The optional light cardio. It gets 10 to 15 minutes.
But doesn't cardio feel a bit counterintuitive for a rest day? What's your take on including actual movement when the goal is recovery?
Yeah, it can seem that way, but including this, light cardio is very strategic. It's not just filler time. It makes sure the recovery day is genuinely active. And you've got choices, right? Walk outside, slow cycle, easy jog, gentle dancing.
Yeah, those are the examples given.
But this specific activity isn't really the main point. The intensity is everything here. The sources really hammer this home. You have to keep the intensity strictly between 50 and 60% of your maximum effort. We should probably unpack why that specific range is so critical for recovery.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Why is going over that, say, hitting 70% effort so bad here? What's the damage?
Okay, so when you train hard, you build up metabolic byproducts, think like lactate, other stuff in your muscles. If you just sit completely still, that waste kind of hangs around. It contributes to stiffness, that delayed soreness, DOMS. But low-intensity movement, that 50–60% zone, it boosts blood flow. Think of it like your body's internal cleanup crew. It helps flush out that waste without causing new damage or creating more metabolic stress. It's basically a pump for clearing things out.
Okay.
But if you push past that 60%, you start recruiting muscle fibers differently, demanding more oxygen, and you actually begin accumulating new stress. So that whole 10–15 minutes of cardio is purely about speeding up the cleanup. So the intensity here is really about holding back, not pushing forward.
Yeah.
And the sources give that super practical test for staying in the zone.
The talk test.
Exactly. The talk test is your go-to check. Can you hold a conversation comfortably, like speak in full sentences without gasping for air? If yes, you're almost certainly in that sweet spot, the 50–60% zone. If you're struggling to chat, you've gone too hard. Your light cardio is actually working against your recovery now, so you have a non-negotiable rule for this part.
Got it. Okay, so let's say you're tight on time. You're tempted to skip this 10 minutes of light cardio. Is it really optional? Or does part 3, the stretching, kind of rely on this boost in blood flow?
That's a really good question. They do label it optional, but
Yeah.
I'd argue it's highly recommended, especially for effective waste removal. Think about it. Muscles that have just had a 10-minute flush of fresh, oxygenated blood, they're going to be much more pliable, more receptive to stretching than cold muscles.
Makes sense.
If you skip it, that mobility routine in part 3, Well, it just won't be as effective at actually lengthening the tissues. The muscles haven't been prepped to relax and let go of that tension from previous workouts. It's the link that really sets up the next phase for success.
Excellent point. So we shift from movement aimed at, like, cleaning house to movement aimed at restoring your range of motion. That brings us to part 3, the targeted restoration, the mobility and stretch routine.
This is also 10 to 15 minutes, and unlike the cardio, this is all about specific positions you hold, and the duration seems key here. The sources say hold each stretch for a good 20 to 30 seconds, and repeat twice if you can. That length of time, that's what makes it a real stretch, right? Not just a quick pull.
Yes, absolutely. Around 20 seconds is typically the minimum time needed for your body's natural stretch reflex its defense against overstretching to start relaxing. That allows you to get a bit deeper into the muscle fibers safely. And we should probably walk through the sequence they suggest because the order seems quite deliberate. It moves from your core outwards.
It kicks off with the cat-cow stretch. Foundational, this one. It targets your spinal mobility, arching the back, then rounding it. Why start there?
Core stability.
Well, almost all movement, athletic or just daily posture, relies on a spine that can move well. You're essentially warming up the main pillar of your body first.
Okay, that makes sense. And right after that, it's child's pose. Sitting back on your heels, stretching the arms forward. That feels like a recovery posture in itself. Hits the back and hips.
Exactly, back and hips together. Then, from that central focus, we start hitting the big muscle groups. Seated forward fold is next. That's a direct hit on the hamstrings.
Always tight.
Aren't they just? Folding from the hips, legs straight, really targets the back of the legs. Then it gets more specific with the hip flexor stretch. Moving into that lunge position, easing the hips forward. This addresses muscles crucial for posture, running, even just sitting comfortably. Often the tightest culprits in our modern lives.
Yeah.
You know that one, just thinking about it. Then we hit the lower body powerhouses, the figure 4 stretch. That's great for the glutes, right? And gets into that hip rotation. Targeted glutes, and, really importantly, that external hip rotation. People often focus only on hamstring length, but sometimes tight hips or glutes are the real root of lower back or even knee pain.
Interesting.
Then it's the butterfly stretch for the inner thighs, the adductors. Feet together, gently easing the knees down. Releasing tension in those stabilizing muscles. Again, it's strategic, hitting these often overlooked tight spots. And the main stretching part wraps up with 2 more. Chest opener stretch hands, clasp behind the back, little lift, and the side body stretch, reaching one arm up and over.
So it feels like it covers the whole system. Spine, hips, legs, chest, sides. It's a pretty thorough map of where tension usually builds up.
It really is quite comprehensive for the time allocated. But, the physical work, that's only about 3/4 of the story here. After mobilizing everything, the last step is crucial, and it's internal, resetting the system. Which brings us to part 4. Right, the final piece. Breathing and relaxation, only 3 to 5 minutes, but the way it's structured suggests its impact is, well, maybe the most strategic part of the whole routine.
And the source material is very specific. It's not just take deep breaths. It lays out an exact technique. It's this cycle. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold the breath for 2 seconds. Then exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds. And you repeat that 4-2-6 pattern for, 5 or 6 rounds?
Yeah.
That precise 4-2-6 structure is absolutely intentional, and it raises a key question. We've already moved, we've stretched. Why dedicate these last few minutes specifically to this breathing pattern? Well, the source says its purpose is to calm the nervous system and help recovery. But what's the actual link? How does breathing out longer physically help you restore?
That connection is everything.
Yeah.
See, throughout your day, and especially during intense exercise, your sympathetic nervous system is dominant. That's your fight or flight mode.
Heart rate up, muscles tense, exactly. But for physical repair and real recovery to happen, you need the other system to take over. The parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest mode.
Okay, so by deliberately making that exhale longer, 6 seconds, 2 longer than the inhale, you're essentially manually activating the vagus nerve. That's the main highway for the parasympathetic system. You're sending a direct signal to your brain and body. Okay, the effort is done, danger's past, it's safe to shift into deep rest mode now.
Wow, okay, so it's like flipping a physiological switch, telling your body to stand down.
Precisely. And that switch is vital for physical restoration. Why? Because being in that relaxed parasympathetic state allows all the beneficial hormonal processes to work optimally. When you're stuck in fight or flight, your body releases stress hormones like cortisol. Cortisol actually inhibits muscle repair and growth.
Right.
But by shifting states with this breathing, you lower cortisol. That allows the good stuff, tissue repair processes like protein synthesis, growth hormone release, to happen much more efficiently. That 4-2-6 breathing is the essential bridge between calming your mind and physically restoring your body.
That's a fantastic explanation. It really frames this whole plan not just as a sequence of exercises, but as a deliberate strategy to transition your entire system, physical and mental.
It absolutely is. And if we sum up the real power here, it's in the clarity, the timing, the segmentation. The total time commitment is really manageable, 20, 30 minutes. But every single step from those first 30-second joint rolls right down to that precise 4-2-6 breathing count, it all serves a specific engineered purpose. It's about maximizing recovery efficiently. No wasted movement, no wasted time.
So what's the takeaway for you listening? It means recovery isn't just something passive that happens. It's actually a skill you can practice and improve. By following a detailed guide like this, you make sure every minute you dedicate to your rest day is actively working for you, helping you restore, making your next hard workout even better. You're not just moving, you're actively optimizing.
Yeah, and think about this. The plan spends time on physical movement, stretching. But then critically, it demands you regulate your nervous system after the movement stops, using that specific 4-2-6 breathing. Which leads to a final thought, something maybe to mull over that goes beyond just exercise. What other parts of your day, maybe your intense work day, finishing a big project, even the moments right before you try to sleep, are missing that kind of structured, intentional wind down? That phase designed purely for mental calm and letting your system truly rest.
Maybe think about applying that structured, short 3 to 5 minute closeout cycle to other areas. Could it help maximize your efficiency and recovery? Everywhere else, too.